With the U.S. House ready to reconvene today to consider a funding bill passed Monday in the Senate, everybody seems to think the government shutdown is all but over. But could anything get in the way? Let's ask former Congressman Matt Salmon.
Matt represented Arizona in Congress from 95 through 2000 and again from 2013 to 2016. It was during his first stretch in Congress that we had our last full year complete budget passed by Congress and signed by a president.
Yeah, we want to ask you about getting back to a world where Washington actually works and shutdowns are avoided because the government gets funded for a full year. But first, Matt, what could go wrong today in the House that would mean they don't pass the Senate's funding bill? Or do you think this is a given?
Right now, I think it's a given. But if all 219 Republican House members don't show up, there's a possibility that there could be a handful of Republicans that vote against it and no Democrats vote for it. But about 5 or 6 Democrats are likely to vote for it. And probably as many as 2 Republicans vote against it. And if all members show up, and the other good news is that Grijalva will be sworn in today. And so Arizona will have its full voice in the U.S. House of Representatives. But I think that everything will work this time, and by midnight tonight, the government will be open again.
Okay, I feel like, some of us can breathe now. So you, Matt, helped to pass, I should say, 3 budgets in a row in the mid-90s. A Republican-controlled House and Senate worked with a Democratic president to pass a budget and actually ended up with a surplus. Are we ever going to see anything like that again?
I don't hold a lot of hope out for that. It's been over 20 years since the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate have actually done their job when it comes to the budget. This budget it's a pseudo budget. It's a continuing resolution. And basically what it is taking last year's budget, adding a percentage to it, and kicking the can down the road. They're supposed to pass 12 appropriation bills. That's called regular order. And what that means is that the appropriation bills actually are voted on individually, and that constitutes the federal budget, those 12 appropriation bills, and they go to the president to sign. And that's the way things are supposed to be done because, just like any budget, things change, and the Congress should be going through all of these agencies with a fine-tooth comb to know what's working, what needs more resources, what's now obsolete because of all the new technology that we're employing in government, and what we can get rid of. And they're not doing any of that. They're basically just putting a Band-Aid on everything. And they've got to get back to regular order. I know that the speaker, that's a pet project of his, and it should be. Because they're not serving the public the way they should. Also, there's been a lot of firsts this time around. This is the longest shutdown in the history of the U.S. Congress, and also the longest time that I can recall that the U.S. House has ever been on recess, a month and a half.
Yeah, it's an awful long time. Do you think anybody was feeling guilty about that, or were they just?
I hope they were, and I with all the. I think the right thing for them to do would have been to say that no members of Congress get any pay. When you've got air traffic controllers that aren't being paid, when you've got our military that's not being paid, I think the right thing for them to do would have been to say, we're not going to accept our pay either. But that didn't happen. The other thing that's really interesting is that both parties, I know they were looking at all the, negotiations and everything, and who's the winners and who's the losers. The losers are the American people, and both parties are losers in this because I think the public has lost confidence in their ability to actually do their job.
Former Congressman Matt Salmon joining us here on Arizona's Morning News. It makes me wonder, do they just not understand the effect that this has on Americans unless they're getting these howling phone calls from citizens going, get it together?
No, I think they understand, and that makes it even sadder. If they played this like a board game, and when real lives are at stake. People, that rely on SNAP for actually feeding their children, we're going hungry. And the military, these people, most people in the military are living from paycheck to paycheck. They have their mortgages to pay, their car payments to pay, they're putting food on the table. And, they were seriously in harm's way. This was a really, really bad deal. And I, like many Americans, am really angry with the process. Both parties need a swift kick in the butt. They are not serving the American people well. Arizona especially should do what we can to strengthen the independence in this state. Right now, these guys were playing a game of chicken, and or a Russian roulette, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the gun was put to the public's head, not to their own.
All right. Former Congressman Matt Salmon, always appreciate your time, and I love hearing you here on KTAR. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.